Hey, welcome. Today, we're diving into something that sounds complicated, but is actually a powerful secret weapon used for centuries. We're not talking about some boring, dusty legal thing. We're talking about a strategy, a tool used by everyone from ancient philosophers to modern-day billionaires to protect and grow their legacy. We are talking about trusts.
So let me start with a weird question for you. What if the one thing that's supposed to set your family up for life could actually be the very thing that tears it all down? Sounds crazy, right? But it happens more than you think.
To really get this, we've got to look at how even the best intentions can just completely backfire. So let's jump into a real story that shows why simply leaving a pile of cash behind might be one of the riskiest moves you can make. Okay, check out this story from the LA Times. It's a real heartbreaker. A guy remarries, passes away suddenly, and he leaves everything in a trust for his kids. But his new wife finds a loophole. She reroutes the entire thing to her family, leaving his kids with almost nothing. How in the world does that happen? The very thing he built to protect them was turned against them. And here's the kicker. The problem wasn't the trust itself. It was a bad trust. It was designed so poorly that it gave her total unchecked control. It had no guardrails, so instead of being a shield, it became a sword.
But it's not always about somebody trying to pull a fast one. Sometimes good fortune just evaporates. Even when everyone has the best intentions, a sudden windfall can disappear in the blink of an eye.
Take Sally, for instance. She inherits a cool $500,000. You'd think she's set for life, right? No. Within just 10 years, every single penny was gone. And it wasn't because she was a bad person. She just didn't have a system, no guidance, no structure to help her manage it properly. It's the classic lottery winner story.
So you've got these two huge dangers, right? Deception on one side and just plain old mismanagement on the other. So what's the solution? What's the shield? Well, let's break down the powerful tool that's designed to stop these exact disasters in their tracks. So what is a trust, really? Don't let the legal jargon scare you. At its heart, it's actually incredibly simple. Just picture a super secure legal strongbox. You take your most valuable assets, your money, your house, your investments, which is called the corpus, and you place them inside this box for safekeeping.
Now, every trust has three key players on the field. First, you've got the grantor. That's the person who creates the strongbox and puts the stuff inside. Then you have the trustee. Think of them as the manager or the coach. Their job is to follow the rules you set. And finally, the beneficiary. They're the ones who actually get to enjoy everything inside the box. Simple as that.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. Not all trusts are created equal. You've basically got two main flavors, and the difference between them is everything. A revocable trust is flexible. You can change your mind. But here's the catch. Because you still control it, it's still yours, which means it's not protected from lawsuits. An irrevocable trust, on the other hand, that's a fortress. Once you set it up, you give up direct control. But in return, those assets are no longer legally yours to be sued for. They're shielded.
And that brings us to the real secret sauce. This is the core idea that makes an irrevocable trust so unbelievably powerful. And it starts by completely flipping what you think it means to own something.
Let that sink in for a second. An ex-judge saying you never really own your home. Think about it. If you stop paying your property taxes, who comes and takes the house? The government. So if owning something actually makes you vulnerable, maybe the goal shouldn't be to own it at all. And that is the absolute genius of the trust. It performs a kind of magic trick by splitting ownership in two. The trustee holds what's called the legal title. They're the manager on paper. But the beneficiary, the person you care about, holds the equitable title. They get all the benefits, all the use, all the enjoyment. Because nobody holds both pieces, the asset is protected. It's brilliant.
So here's the bottom line of what this does. You are fundamentally changing the status of your assets. You're shifting them from the category of things I own that can be taken from me over to a new category, resources that I'm guaranteed to benefit from. You get rid of the risk, but you keep all the reward.
But look, this is about so much more than just a clever legal setup. A great trust isn't just about protecting money. It's about building a framework, a support system that can last for generations. It's a tool for creating a real legacy.
And this is not some hot new idea, okay? This concept is literally ancient. Plato used a form of a trust to make sure his university would exist long after he was gone. Knights in the Crusades used them to protect their castles while they were off at war. The most powerful families and institutions in history have used this exact tool to build things that last.
And here's the part that I think is truly amazing. A well-designed trust does more than just move money around. It creates a human system. It's like a built-in mentorship program. It gives everyone, the trustees, the beneficiaries, a reason to work together. It encourages smart, long-term planning. It basically builds a supportive family army that has your back when things get tough.
And that is the ultimate goal, isn't it? This is not about just handing down a pile of cash for the next generation to blow through. It's about giving them a structure, an engine for growth, a system that empowers them to build on the foundation you created. So in the end, the question a trust makes you ask isn't just about your bank account. It forces you to think bigger. It asks, what are you really building? What kind of legacy, what kind of foundation are you going to leave for the generations you'll never even meet?